Yo! What's good, man? How y'all doing out there? Happy Wednesday. Welcome in. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. We got another one, baby. Let's go. Yes, sirski. Happy Wednesday, y'all. I'll be honest, I thought that Stephen A. LeBron thing wouldn't last too long, but here we are. Here we are, man. We still at it. Got some Jokic, SGA part 2. Tyrese Haliburton. Oh, where is this? Actually. Welcome back to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, today, like I was just mentioning during the intro, we're going to be talking about Lebron James, Lavar James, Lebron Ball, I don't know, whatever you want to call him, versus Stephen A. Smith, SAS, whatever the hell you want to call him. But we'll be talking a whole lot about that still. Because I mean, we're here already. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the Tyrese Haliburton game winner, a 4-point play as a game winner. I mean, wow. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about Jokic SGA part 2. And also we'll be covering, we'll go over the Lakers' loss to Brooklyn, because obviously there's a lot of people that have championship aspirations for the Los Angeles Lakers with the signage of Luka Doncic, and so that's probably the best place to start. So let's start right there. It was Monday night. The Nets snapped their 7-game losing streak by beating the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, granted, LeBron did not play, right? This was Luka's first game without LeBron, and the team shot terrible. Like, it was an awful shooting night. I mean, both teams didn't shoot the ball well, but the Brooklyn Nets were able to come away with the victory. Obviously, there were some people that were complaining about the referees and the whistle, right? The referees and the whistle. But realistically, you guys have to be able to get that win. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you guys have to get that win against the Brooklyn Nets. It just is what it is. I mean, we're talking about a team that's just, this team sucks. Like, it's just like the team just sucks. Like, the Nets suck. So, you know, when you're the Lakers and you have championship aspirations, you can't lose to this team. But we've said before, Luka is still working his way back, and the rest of the team, even though they've played well with LeBron, I mean, if you're just looking at names on paper, none of them jump out, right? And so, does this mean that the Los Angeles Lakers are not championship contenders? No, I don't think that's the case. You know, they're a new team, right? They're a brand new team, and they were having struggles even before, right? Even though they started their little win streak just before Luka got there, but they had struggled a little bit throughout the year. And some of these guys, like Gabe Vincent's been playing really well since Luka's got there. Jared Vanderbilt has been playing well since Lucas got there, but everyone else is you throw it in the air and you'll see who's gonna actually play well that night for the Lakers. It is good to see that Austin Reeves is as he's as aggressive as ever, pretty much. That's something that you want him to continue. You don't want him to shy away from the shots or from being aggressive with LeBron and Luka on the floor. So that's good to see because he's gonna get a lot of opportunities. But this is more. I think this is more about the Lakers losing than the Nets winning, in my opinion. Because if you guys, if we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, if you are going to contend for a championship, you guys have to be able to pull off victories just like this. And honestly, the next night, right? We'll just go over this really quickly. The following night or 2 nights later, the Brooklyn Nets are up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, Cleveland didn't have Donovan Mitchell in the game, so it was, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. You guys get the point. And they were down like 20 points and were able to pull this victory out. And it has everything to do with the Cleveland Cavaliers just have a good team. They've have this system that they've been playing all year. So guys are really comfortable in it. I will say Darius Garland had a hell of a fucking fourth quarter. That goes a long way. He had the same amount of points as the entire Brooklyn Nets in the fourth quarter alone. So that'll obviously help you get a victory. But, it shows you the comparison between the two teams. Right? Cleveland was able to get good shots, and the Lakers, I granted it was a physical game, they just shot terribly. Now, aside from obviously what we've seen with the Los Angeles Lakers, right? There's Stephen A. Smith, I believe it was yesterday, had joined the Gills Arena podcast. And obviously, again, had to address this LeBron situation. And so, let's take a listen at what he had to say. Hopefully, they don't hit us with an ad right away. Let's see how this works.
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened. I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench. He had Larry David with him, star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sitting with them. I get there in the first quarter. I'm sitting courtside, and I stand up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter. Crazy. Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turned around, and he's right here in my face. He said, yo, you got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though. And he walked off.
All right, so look at him just up there gossiping. Spill that was a conversation between two men. Listen, and Steven is a female nobody respects. I'm weak. This is such a loaded conversation, right? Because on one side, there's going to be people that say he's defending his kid and there is no conversation to be had. And listen, like, I'll keep it 100 because y'all know how I do, right? Maybe it's because I don't have a kid. Like, maybe it's because I don't have a kid, right? But doing that for your son in basketball works in middle school, high school, hell, even college. But he gets a paycheck just like everybody else now. He gets paid to play basketball just like everybody else. And to all of the people that said your son the only reason your son is in that spot, taking an opportunity away from someone that's maybe more worthy, you pulling up on Stephen A. Smith, to me, validates all of those people with that opinion. If Bron wanted to tell the world, he would have tweeted, he came up to you as a man. But listen, I've watched the clip that people are talking. I've watched that whole segment. He wasn't talking about Bronny. In almost all of the segments where they're talking about this, Stephen A's talking about LeBron. And there's people that said, oh, he wants to talk tough after the fact. So treat bro like everyone else. He ain't said a word about the Raptors rookie, nor mentioned Bronny averaging 22. Listen, no one has though, Elijah. like, no one has. Like we can't pretend as if people aren't gonna talk about Bronny James. That's not the case. That's what Stephen A's point was. LeBron James brings a lot of light to his kid. And listen. I'll bring this up because maybe someone might say, "Oh, he's being consistent." Right? Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to this.
Kids because they're not going to look at him as LeBron's kids. They're going to be like, "You better be just like your dad." And then after a while, that pressure starts sitting on you because it's like, wow, why I got to be like him? Why can't it just be me? And then they be like, oh, you're soft. You're not that good. Because the expectation is very, very high.
All right, needless to say, LeBron pretty upset, telling Lavar, quote, keep my kid's name out your mouth. Keep my family out your mouth. This is dad to dad. It's a problem now.
LaVar said the same thing. And LeBron's response is, keep my kid's name out of your mouth. So if I tell you you're a bad dad, your response to me is, don't disrespect my kid. like there is what is the dumb narrative though, Elijah? What is the narrative? There is no narrative. The fact is, the only reason Bronny got drafted is because of LeBron. And the fact is, as of today, Bronny is not yet an NBA player. And to me, this is where there's a difference between LeBron and LeVar. Because all that energy of, oh, my son's better than all of y'all, or my son's better than half the league. I would have wished he kept that same energy. I wish he kept that same energy. Because everybody was mad at LeVar then. But LeVar never had the power to actually get his kid into the NBA. His kids were just good enough. But the fact that, like, this isn't even about Bronny. That's the part that's confusing to me. That's the thing that's confusing to me as to, like, with this response. No one's talking about Bronny. And in fact, there's a bunch of other people you could point at that talk shit about Bronny. Look at his improvement over the years. He jumped higher. His skill has risen. He is visible, stronger. People I play would talk on Bronny, but would never be able to hoop with him. No. But that's there's. But here's the thing too, Elijah, right? Here's the thing. And you could understand this, Elijah. People, you call James Harden trash. There's people that call LeBron trash. Like, if you are an NBA player, you are someone's gonna call you trash. Like, what is the everyone has to deal with it. Okay, but he didn't get him onto the G League team. He got him a guaranteed NBA contract. And listen, I don't even care, because I think that was like a thank you to Bron. But let's not act as if that's not what's happening. And the fact that people are calling you out, LeBron James, as a dad, and you're not responding to it, I think is a real... It's like he's avoiding accountability when it comes to that. And listen, it's the first time, right? I'll give him that. He is dealing with being a father and the player currently playing in the league. It's the first time it's happened in the NBA with someone as popular and as high in the rankings as he is. I'll give him that. It's a learning curve for him at 40. Right? This is something he's never had to deal with before. But you have to realize at some point the spotlight you put on your kid. Basically, people were saying he wasn't NBA material when he was in high school. Jaylen Brown said he wasn't an NBA player. You don't see Bron stepping up to him? Ryan Clark just backed up what Stephen A said. I promise you Bron is not stepping up to him. That's what I'm saying. You cherry picked Stephen A. Smith instead of having a real conversation about it. Because the conversation isn't Bronny. Like, again, that's what I keep going back to. That's the part that's confusing to me. The conversation isn't Bronny. The conversation is you as a father. And that's why I think he's missing the point.
This man was about to leave the building, but he saw me, decided he wanted to interrupt the Sports Center proceedings to make a point. Excuse me, you had some explaining to do. 3 points on 1 for 6 shooting for the man who happens to be your son. He's got a lot of promise, but tonight was not a great night. You said it was going to be a great opening night.
It was a great opening night.
What? How? Explain.
Big Baller brand went up 12%. It's always good. Even when you lose, I win. You see what I'm saying? Big Baller brand, we here to stay.
I
tell you what, Lonzo did good.
How? What game were you watching?
What is the difference? What is the difference? And we all agreed bruh sucked or struggled at the beginning of the year. Why is Steven still bashes Bronny harder than actual all-stars? Elijah, that's the thing. He made those comments right after a game, in January or December or whenever the fuck that clip went out. He didn't just pop his name out of nowhere. It came after something. Again, Steven is the loudest and starts these conversations. I've never seen Bron pull up on Skip. I've never seen Bron, listen, man. And I get that there are some folks that, I'm being a father, you can't say shit about my kid. Cool. We weren't talking about your kid. We were talking about your role as a father. And again, that's just, I think that Bron is dealing with this in real time, right? I think he is dealing with how to be a father and a competitor at the same time, and he needs to separate the two. Because even in the comments, I seen a lot of people say, I would have been pissed if my dad did that shit. I would have been pissed if my dad did that shit. I'd have been like, let me handle my own battles. What the fuck are you doing? Like I said, this is the same guy, LeBron, who told his mom to sit her ass down in the stands when she was yelling at the referees and the other team. You can't intervene. That's a professional player, Bronny James is. That's a pro. It is. It's a part of it. It's a part of it. It is what it is. But, hey, man. Hopefully, honestly, what I'm hoping for is that an actual conversation happens. I doubt it, but that's what I'm hoping for, that an actual conversation happens. Obviously, I think Bron is going to be out for another week and a half, right? It's probably another week and a half. So it's another week and a half of him not playing. I already said if they're gonna be at 500 over these next couple games, I would personally say just sit Luka, let him rest, and let him kind of heal again, and then bring him back right before Bron plays. That's how I would manage the situation right now. Let the other guys gain confidence. Let the other guys off of the leash and just fucking go crazy. Let Austin Reeves go get 40. Let Dalton Connect get 25, 30, and then have everybody come back. That's personally what I would do with the Lakers right now, because they're in a weird spot. They're in a weird spot where they were on a streak. They were on a streak, but the injury bug just hit them. So if you're gonna go for a championship, one, everyone has to be healthy. But two, everybody has to be going into the playoffs with just a lot of confidence. So I would prioritize that with this team personally. But hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. But let us continue on. Y'all saw that game winner by Tyrese, bro. Y'all saw that game winner by Tyrese. Holy shit. The ugliest jumper in the NBA just fucking did that, bro. Let's take a look at this real quick. Watch them hit us with an ad right when he's shooting the three. I can see it already.
Clutch. Damian Lillard comes through when it matters. Pacers down 3. Haliburton's got the ball. Haliburton rises up.
That is the ugliest shot.
Tyrese Haliburton hits a 3 and is fouled.
Bro.
You have got to be kidding me.
After review, it's been deemed the foul on Giannis has been upheld as a defensive foul for not allowing the offensive player to land safely. The goal will be scored. Halliburton will shoot 1. The game clock will be set to 3.4. They will be charged.
Foul to give the Pacers the lead. Haliburton does.
Like, bro, what the fuck did I witness, man? Because there is no way in hell Tyrese Haliburton hit that fucking shot. Wow, like, it only took, what is it, fucking March? It only took till March for Tyrese to have a moment. It's been a rough year for Tyrese. You know, they had a hell of a year last year. They made a hell of a run. Their offense, making it to the finals in the play-in tournament. And so there was a lot of excitement for this Indiana Pacers team that, you know, scored a lot of points last year. And, you know, their leading guy was Tyrese Haliburton. But, you know, he went from, what is this? Where the fuck is his assist? He went from 20 and 10 in the 2022-2023 season and in the 2023-2024 season. But this year is down to 18.5 and 8.9 assists. Pascal, he was hitting that motherfucker. He really was. He was dunking it. Like, he was doing everything last night. And it was, you know, 14 shots out of Giannis was, you know, it was interesting to say the least. 14 shots. He shot the ball really well. To only end up with 19 points is questionable. You know, if you're playing the Milwaukee Bucks and their leading scorer is Brook Lopez, I'll be honest with you, you're probably feeling pretty good about that game. No disrespect to Brook Lopez, but, you know, Damian Lillard, Giannis is on the floor. Brook has the most points, and Taurean Prince has literally the most shots on the team. So a great game plan on the defensive end for Indiana, which is something that we don't say a lot about them. But what a shot. What a shot. I mean, is that the shot of the year? Game winner, 4-point play. Is that the shot of the year? It might be the ugliest game winner ever, but I guess it's shot of the, like, because wow. How often are you seeing a 4-point play for the win? Like, that's just never happening. But, you know, I wanted to have this Tyrese conversation because now we keep talking about dads. This is the theme for today. This is the dad episode. Tim Hardaway Sr. had some words for Tyrese Haliburton. Let's see this.
I saw the Indiana Pacers. Detroit Pistons went up there and beat them in the play-in stuff, and then Indiana came in with their squad and busted Pistons' ass. And then the Pistons was like, yeah, we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm in front of TV, my popcorn, watching my son and stuff. They get their ass whooped. They talking shit to him. I said, you know, if I go back and put on my shit and suit up, I want to go fuck up Haliburton. I want to go fuck him up. He talks so much shit.
Okay.
I want to go back and bust his motherfucking
I love it.
ass.
I love it. I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the energy.
He talks so much shit. I want to go back. I want to bust his ass.
So you want to bust Tyrese Haliburton's ass?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. He was definitely saying some bullshit about the Dallas Mavericks. Although coming now when he was talking about the Mavericks organization, I mean, after seeing what's happened this year, he might not have been wrong. He might not have been wrong. I do think he needs to kind of be quiet, but this is not the first time I've heard this about Tyrese. This is not the first time I've heard this about Tyrese. And, you know, kind of like how we spoke about this has been a massive year for Anthony Edwards, right? I think the same thing can be said about Tyrese Haliburton. Because, you know, coming off of last year, he was supposed to be the next great traditional point guard, right? That was the role. And honestly, as much as I don't love his game, I think it's important to have him around and to have him play at a high level because it creates parity in the league, right? An NBA where all of the point guards are shoot first point guards, it's nice to have a pass first facilitating point guard. It really is. And not for nothing, he was unbelievable at it last year between his assist to turnover ratios. He was averaging 10.9 assists to 2.3 turnovers. And so you love to see that, right? The question is, is he really that good? You know, when you talk a big game, you got to be able to back it up and play a big game. And after watching him a lot in that Indiana Pacers series against the Knicks, right? After watching him a bunch against the Milwaukee Bucks series in the playoffs, I don't know if it was an injury thing, but, and I don't know if it's like a personality thing because he is a pass first type of guy. But for you to talk a lot of shit when it comes to these games where you need to go and take 20 to 25 shots and you take 10, that's a problem. Because I've said it before, right? When you're a point guard and you're always passing, it's important for you to be aggressive and looking for your shot still. Because if you're not a threat, you're not going to be able to create these passing lanes. Right? And so when it comes to his aggression coming and going, I think that's why some people look at him in this negative light. Because you talk all this shit and then we don't care if you make or miss the shot. But when you're taking 8 shots in a must-win game, that's a real problem. No, he should have been in convos. He was, and he should have never been in the Olympics. Good enough to shit talk the Hardaways, though. Deal with it. Oh, man, your knees worn down and broke. Get it out the net. I'm not going to lie, though. Tim Hardaway would have fried him. like Tim Hardaway Sr., I think he would have fried his shit. I'm not even going to hold you. like he would have really fried him. Like that. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, but in the 1992 Olympics, right? The whole, all the conversation was about Isaiah Thomas getting on the team or not, and it was Michael Jordan and so on and so forth. Really, the conversation should have been, should Tim Hardaway been on that team or not? Not fucking Isaiah Thomas at the time. It should have been Tim Hardaway. That boy was cold. But yeah, at this point, he's too old. Like, we will never see it, even though I think he would have fried his shit. honestly, I wish if he would have taught his son how to dribble the ball even a little bit, his son would be far better off than where he is right now. Because that boy, I hate it when Tim Hardaway Jr. starts dribbling. When he was on the Knicks, and when that boy would start dribbling, I get scared. Like, I get scared, bro. Can shoot the shit out the ball, but god damn. But I think to your point, Elijah, like, he shouldn't have been on the Olympics. Like, he just shouldn't have been on the Olympics. Kyrie Irving, Jalen Brunson are the two biggest names that come to mind when it comes to who should have been on that Olympic team. And I think Brunson had like a broke hand, so it should have been Kyrie. So it should have been Kyrie. And I think this is what Tyrese Haliburton needs to work on, right? His shot, to me, is tough because his shot is such a set shot that, like, it's hard to be dribbling and then just pull up. Like, his shot is so awkward. That's why he has the side step, right? That's why if you see Haliburton, he goes to his side step a lot. No Kyrie, Trae Young, Ja Morant, Tyrese would be my top picks. Ja Morant last year? Ja Morant last year? Ja was injured. Who will be in for 28 as well? Yeah, I mean, no, that's true. I mean, Trae gets snubbed every time. Trae gets snubbed every time. But like, when the list actually came out, I think the names were like Kyrie, Trae Young, Brunson. I think Maxey was also a good shout last year. But I think Ja was already he was already out. I don't think he would have been able to play. And seeing the season that he's had, being in and out with injuries, he probably wouldn't have been able to play in the Olympics. But there were definitely other names they could have gone with way before. You could have gone with Damian Lillard last year, damn near, instead of fucking Tyrese Haliburton. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, when it comes to Tyrese, I think he needs to work on his isolation game a little bit. He needs to get a package that he could go to. Pause. That sounded nuts. That sounded crazy. He needs a package that he could go to is crazy. Kawhi and Joel was injured too. Yeah. No, that's facts. They shot themselves in the foot with the roster selection. No, the fact that they are not pulling up there with 12, 15 all-stars is mind-blowing. like, here's the shit, right? Look at the All-NBA list and look at the All-Star list. And those are the only names that should be on that motherfucker, pretty much. Like, it's not that difficult. But they're doing some brain dead shit over there, bro. They talk about let's make a team when they have 3 weeks of practice. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? But anyway, but yeah, I think Tyrese needs to work on his one-on-one game. He needs to have a dribble combo and a shot that he could get to consistently. Because right now he can only, I feel like he could damn near only shoot that shot, doing a sidestep to the left. If he's gonna drive the lane, he's very rarely pulling up. It's gonna be a floater, so about the area where he's gonna get the shot off in. And if not, he's trying to get to the rim or pass it. So I think he's gotten predictable, right? I think guys have been able to watch film on him. And for him to get to another level, right, that we're talking about, Elijah, for him to be a legitimate all-star, all-NBA, Olympic type of player, he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to look for his shot more. And in order to do that, I think he needs to work on his isolation game. He's a good three-point shooter. He's a solid three-point shooter. Very good vision and passing. If he could work on being able to score easier and getting to his spots and getting to his shots, I think it'll open up the passing even more for him. Right? Like if he can get himself to like 22, 23 points, I think his assists go up too. Because he becomes more of a threat consistently, right? So he's got a ways to go. Because like I said, I think his game has looked the same over the last couple years. And he's definitely going to have to make a shift. Monday night, we got a part 2 of the Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander MVP battle. While he can improve, I think he will be. I think he is who he will be. I don't think he will be a guy that makes jumps for real. All right, so question then about Tyrese. Do you think you could have him on a championship contending team right now as the point guard? Like as the guy that's just kind of facilitating the ball, can hit open shots. Do you think his role, or is he still not aggressive enough as a player? Because, I mean, you can't have that guy disappear in the big moments. I know he hit a big shot last night, but I also saw him disappear in the playoffs last year, straight gone. Because especially in, like, sometimes in contending teams, there's not enough basketballs on the floor for the amount of scorers and shooters that you have. You need someone to be able to, okay, I'm going to just take a step back and let y'all do your thing and be the one to facilitate and hit open shots. So, you know, I think he can. I personally think he can. But we'll see. We'll see. I think he's got a lot to work on in the summer. I think he needs to put on a little bit of weight, and he needs to work on his ones. Now, the Nuggets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder on Monday night. 140-127 was the final. Jalen Williams went out early. He only played 13 minutes. I think they said he's out like a week or two or something like that, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, after the 40-point night, only 25, 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7. But Jokic, on the other end, 35 points, 18 rebounds, 8 assists. The permanent sub. What is this? Actually, I tend to throw so also. Oh. I mean, that's to me that's not as big of a deal. I mean, honestly, like the story of that game, right, or the story of Monday night's game is the number one defense in the league gave up 140 points. You know, you could have all these different tactics. You could do, you know, you could have whatever the fuck you want, but y'all gave up 140 points. And when it comes to the Denver Nuggets, I mean, not with the Nuggets. When it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder, when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? When you're in a 7-game series in the playoffs and these coaches get to game plan just for you for 2 weeks, the games are a little different. And, you know, I've said this before when it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know that Jalen Williams is their second option player. Can you count on him to get you 23 to 25 points game in and game out in the playoffs? Because when you're looking at number 2 options, Jamal Murray had 34. We've seen Jamal Murray perform in the playoffs, right? We've seen it before. The only reason he's not an all-star year in and year out is because the point guards that he has to go up against are just unbelievable, right? That's the real reason why. That's who Jalen Williams has to compete with. If they're against the Lakers, that second option is LeBron James. Like, things get a little bit different. If you're against the Warriors, that second option is Jimmy Butler. So, in terms of production, in terms of impact, that's who Jalen Williams is that's who he's going to have to try to counter when the playoffs come around. On top of these coaches being able to game plan for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just for him and that team. And, you know, we've seen, obviously, Denver can lose games, but you still got to deal with that. You still got to deal with that big man. You still got to deal with Jokic. You got to deal with Jamal Murray. Michael Porter is much improved. Aaron Gordon is trying to make his way back. And Russell Westbrook, as I've said before, I think adds a different dimension to this team that they didn't have before. I still think that they need some shooting, but you know, they got a crew with them. Like Jokic got a crew of guys with him. And if you're the Thunder, everyone is young. Jalen Williams is going to be out now. How is Chet Holmgren going to be for the rest of the year, right? How quickly is he going to get back into the fold? So there's a lot of question marks on the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of question marks that they're going to have to answer going into the playoffs. I don't have the ultimate faith in them. Honestly, I think this series plays out real funny if Denver and OKC go up against each other in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know. Now, let me see what else we got over here. I don't even want to talk about my New York Knicks. Like, we beat the fucking Kings, dog. like the Kings. 133-104. I will say this though. OG has been playing well lately. That goes a really long way for the New York Knicks. I've said time and again, in terms of offense, we know what we're going to get out of Cat. We know what we're going to get out of Jalen Brunson. If OG Anunoby can give us 20, 22 points, couple steals, couple rebounds a game, it's going to look really, really good for us. Because now, what that does is it relieves pressure from Josh Hart to have to go and get 20 points in a game. He can stay at 13 to 16 points and get his 7 to 8 rebounds, 4, 5, 6 assists, and do his thing. Let's Mikal Bridges be the shooter. Like, OG is a massive part of what the Knicks are doing. If he can do what we want him to do, right? If he could perform the way we envision him to perform, we're a very scary team. And also, if he's firing on defense with Mikal Bridges, that's a very scary thing. That's a good wing duo on defense in the Eastern Conference. Teams like the OKC are in great and terrible positions. You are young and good enough to be at the top but not be a champ. And eventually guys will leave for money or another reason, like old OKC, Memphis, etc. That is the problem that they are going to have is I think once Shea unlocks that supermax for him, right? Because I think it's coming up. How is the money going to work out with this team? Are they going to be able to keep all of their players? And the other thing in it is, who else? One thing is, I think they're also kind of lacking size. They're very guard oriented. Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein are getting fried by Jokic. like 7 days a week, twice on Sunday, dumb boys are getting fried. And so, you know, they're going to get this weird thing where Shea is going to be at 30-ish when Chet and Jalen Williams are going to be arriving and trying to be that all-star, all-NBA type of player. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I definitely think that. I wanted to look at the potential matchups here. Here, because this is important. This is important. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this. Yo, because this is important. All right. So, the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, right? The winner of Mavericks Kings, I mean, if it ended today, right? The winner of Mavericks Kings going here. Winner of Wolves Clippers. The winner of whatever this is plays the Thunder. So these are the potential matchups that they have. I don't think the Timberwolves will beat them, but I think they can give them a little bit of a problem. So can the Clippers, right? If James Harden decides to have himself a fucking series, or Kawhi ends up having a series, anything can happen. And for the Cleveland Cavaliers, I've said this before. You don't want to play against Orlando. You do not want to play against the Orlando Magic. I get that you guys have the best offense in the league, and I don't even think it's close. But you have the third best defense with Paolo Banchero at like 6'9", 6'10", Franz Wagner at like 6'9", 6'10", that could both give you 25 to 30 a night. And, you know, we just saw that clutch shot out of Haliburton. I've seen Paolo Banchero hit clutch shot after clutch shot. And it don't always translate to a win because they be down 9 and they need him to hit 4 straight threes. He'll hit the 3 of them and miss the 4th. Like, that's what be happening with him sometimes. And I can't blame you for not making all 5 shots in a row. But that's an interesting series for the Cleveland Cavaliers. If I'm them, I am praying I don't play the Orlando Magic. Harden Wash, Bruce, I know that's right. Harden ain't giving nobody a hard time. Hello, what's good, Big Brucey? What's good, man? Kawhi gonna be in a tie. You know what's funny? Kawhi's been playing well lately too. He's been playing well. It's just obviously you're looking at guys that don't have a guy that doesn't have a full season under his belt. And then if you're to look at it here, if you're the Denver Nuggets, who are now the 2 seed, right? You like any of these matchups, like any one of these guys, I feel like you're feeling pretty confident in that in that first round. I do that is a good point, Bruce. Suggs would be a really could be a really important piece against the Cleveland Cavaliers because they have such good guard play. The Celtics, I think they're feeling pretty confident against any of these matchups. If Cleveland ends up playing the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round, that's tough. Who would you have in this? Lakers, Warriors. I mean, obviously you got the Warriors, right? But if I'm the NBA, I'm trying to switch that low key. Like I need the Lakers to drop to 5 or some shit. I need some weird shit to happen. If I'm the NBA, I'm trying to prolong that matchup, right? I'm trying to keep LeBron and Steph in the playoffs as long as humanly possible. But I think matchup, I mean they play a big role every year, but matchups will play a massive role this season. Like if Cleveland ends up playing Milwaukee in the second round, that's a problem. If I were them, I would want to play the Indiana Pacers. I just would not want to play the Milwaukee Bucks for second round. Brown, Kissaray, Tatum, Olympics bench, not winning again. I don't know, dog. I don't know, man. Them like the Celtics in the first round last year decided to let Derek White be their best player. I mean, there is no other team in the NBA that could do that. Like, I don't think the Boston Celtics have to be playing at their best to win a championship. No other team in the league could say that. No other team. There's no team that's as deep as them. There's no team that has their fourth or fifth best players that can go and give you 40. Like it's just not the case. It's just not the case. And if you're trying to beat them in a 7-game series, Joe Mazzulla is a maniac. I think he's been really great as a coach. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They want a clinic hospital chip. I'm weak. You want to bet Elijah? All right, so here, real question real quick then, because you think the Warriors win. If this is how it plays out, right? Let's say the Warriors beat the Lakers in the first round. You're that confident they beat the Denver Nuggets? You're that confident they beat the Denver... Jokic might average 40. Like, what are they going to do to slow down Jokic? What are they going to do? They're not going to all of a sudden pull players out of their ass. Draymond is older. I mean, what are they going to do? You don't think the Nuggets can beat the Warriors? Nah. See, I think that's like that is the biggest question mark, is who is going to beat the Nuggets in the Western Conference right now. I think that is the biggest question that the West has to answer, because you don't want to draw them early if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? You don't want some weird shit to happen with the seeding. You end up playing against them in the second round. If you're the Thunder, you would want to play the Nuggets as late as possible, in my opinion. Jolich, Bogdanovic, Dragic, Warriors, and Yo, y'all are funny, man. Y'all are fucking hilarious, dog. I don't know, man. And Jimmy need Duncan, and Tyler's as great as he was in Miami. Nah, listen, man, I do think the Warriors are a threat. It's just when you start getting to the third, fourth, fifth option, to me, is when it gets a little sketchy, and they're small. I saw the Nuggets' weaknesses when they won against the Thunder. I think he will give us minutes, but for a chip I personally don't see it. I mean, like, you could say that about like every team is gonna have a weakness, and like I said, the Nuggets have showed this season that they can beat anyone and they can also lose to anyone. It's just the playoffs when the game slows down. I will agree. Gordon Cap been bothering all season. Murray is Canadian. Enough said. What you got against Murray, dog? Oh, man. You can't say shit about that Serbian monster, though. That motherfucker is a beast. It's going to come down to matchups. There's no bigs in either conference, honestly, that can really compete with Jokic. So it really comes down to everyone else. We'll see. I think the playoffs are going to be really interesting this year. It's going to be very, very interesting this year. Because I'll be honest with you, right? I don't think that if the Grizzlies beat the Rockets, for example, right? And the Grizzlies played the Thunder in the second round, I don't think that's such an easy out. Like, I don't think you just 4-0 sweep Ja and the Memphis Grizzlies. He is. No, that's facts. That's what I was talking about the other day. And so, yeah, I think the number one seeds are in for a rude awakening the playoffs, right? Like, you could end up drawing some shit matchups. Some real shit matchups. Like, Cleveland can be better than the Bucks all they want, but if Giannis decides to have a series of a lifetime, then I'll be honest. I think the Grizzlies beat the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors beat the Grizzlies, but I don't think the Grizzlies are an easy out, like, for a second-round matchup against the Thunder. I think, like, if I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm trying to get to the Western Conference Finals with as little games as possible. And so you try to beat everyone as fast as possible getting to the conference finals, because you're looking at the Lakers, the Warriors, or the Nuggets maybe there. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the Ja's played well over the last week. Right, Ja's playing more like the Ja Morant that we saw, right? That MVP candidate before he started pulling the gun out and shit. It's a little bit more of what we saw, but we got to see more of it, and we got to see it in the playoffs, right? So that's the other part. A lot of these guys, we need to see them perform in the playoffs, and I think that's the coolest part about this year. Right, we get an opportunity to see if these guys are really those type of players. We get to see if SGA is really that dude in the playoffs. We get to see how Ja performs. We get to see, if Steph and Bron can still carry it. We get to see if Jokic, like, there's so many storylines. And then, when you look on the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers might have the best guard duo and the best bigs duo, right? But they could still, but they're not my favorite to come out the East. There's so many storylines that I'm super excited about to go into the playoffs. But that's going to do it for me for now, man. I appreciate y'all, as always, for hanging out with me. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are the fucking best. I appreciate the love. Y'all are just chopping it up today, as always, man. Thank you so much, Elijah. Thank you so much, Bruce, for hanging out with me. Y'all, like I said, man, y'all the best. I'll be back here on Friday, as always, man. As always, I'll be back here on Friday. But before I get out of here, please like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. But thank you guys, man. I appreciate y'all so much. What the fuck did you just say? LeBron only possible win is against Stephen A. I need him to go on a show against him. I need them to have that conversation in real life on television for all of us to see. So Stephen A could be like, no, I wasn't going at your kid. I was calling you a bad son, a bad dad. Yo, why you gotta be booty ball? He injured right now. Why you gotta come at my guy when he at home injured? What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, fuck. Like, shit, man. I didn't even mention the fact that we could end up playing against the Boston Celtics before the conference finals, which fucking sucks. Fucking sucks. But I think it's looking competitive this year. It's looking competitive this year. But that's gonna do it for me for now, man. I thank you guys so much. As always, y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all on Friday, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace, 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 peace. Thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one, y'all.